who created the United States of America. Who's responsible for that? So they want you to think our forefathers created the United States of America. BS. They want you to think they was Albions. All right? Let us be clear that there was already a government established in this land by the original people. And you can find that when you look up the Iroquois Confederacy. And that's also at that link that I gave you earlier. I told y'all, have pen and paper. Iroquois Confederacy, you can find that at that link I gave you, unarepublic.com/docs. Well, what does the Iroquois Confederacy say? It's stating who owns this land, and it's the original people of the land saying, this is our land. They're telling you what their government is. There was already a government established here, and that is that Constitution, that Iroquois Confederacy, the United States of America Constitution is based off of the Iroquois Confederacy. You should read it. Go find the Iroquois Confederacy. Don't look up synopsis of it. It's only about, 7, 8 pages. Read it. Maybe 12 pages. I don't know. Read it. Okay? Read it. The Iroquois Confederacy. And so why is that important? Because I'm letting you know that the original people had already established the government, and then another group of melanated people come in here and they establish another government on top of that. That Iroquois Confederacy is a treaty, and it still stands to this day. Okay? So now, United States of America. Well, when did that start? Who did that? Well, again, a group of what I call elite Moors. Now, these were not more, they weren't necessarily associated with any one particular country. Remember I told you about Christopher Columbus and how he wanted to escape Spain because he wanted to find a place where his people were not persecuted for their religious beliefs. Well, that's the whole thing the United States of America was founded on. You have a freedom of your religious beliefs. Today they telling you United States is a Christian country. No, it's not. The Constitution was based off the Christian belief. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was based off of, really, if you want to look at it, it was really based off of Islamic principles. But one of the things about the Constitution is you have the right to whatever religious belief you desire. That's what it was all about. So when people keep telling you, oh, it's based off of this religion, this religion, no, it wasn't. It was based off of the fact that everybody stood under God and you had a right to your religious beliefs and you were not to be persecuted because of it. That's what Christopher Columbus was coming from when he was in Spain and trying to escape from there. And he ended up landing on the outer lying territories of the United States of America, or what came to be known as the United States of America. All right, who started this? I told y'all the elite Moors. This is another group of melanated people. In that link that I sent you, you can also find a document that was written by the Confederacy of Indians. There's a document written by the Confederacy of Indians, and this was written in 1786. Go get the document. I'm going to tell you about it, but I want you to read it for yourself. In that document, it is the Indians talking to those who were running the United States of America. Now remember, at this time, George Washington wasn't in office, and I need y'all to also understand something. George Washington was not the first president of the United States of America. George Washington was not the first president of the United States of America, as your public school education will have you to believe. That's the lie. Because in 1777, that's when the United States of America was incorporated. And George Washington didn't come into play until 1789. That's a whole 13 years. Now, some of y'all might be like, well, wait, it's 13 years still. That ain't. Yeah, that's, if you incorporate anything, any business people in the house, if you've ever incorporated anything, you know full well that when you incorporate, you better have a president, a vice president, a secretary, a chair, a co-chair, and all the other people established to make your organization a legal entity. All right? If you don't have that established, then you don't have a true legal entity. So, in order to say that the United States of America was incorporated in 1777, then you better have a president. They had several presidents, at least 6, most of which were melanated people. Melanated. But they don't want you to know about them because then it doesn't fit the narrative about all black, so-called black people or melanated people coming over here as slaves. It doesn't fit the narrative when you say that, wait a minute, we had melanated presidents before George Washington. Well, how was we all slaves? Why they let us be slaves if they was running the country? Because the narrative they told you wasn't true. That's why it didn't marinate with you when you were in school. It didn't marinate because it wasn't true. So now we get into it now. We get into the good part. There was melanated people running this country. And I told you, elite Moors, they didn't just come from Morocco. They didn't want to be associated with any of those other territories for the simple fact that they didn't like the governmental system. That's why the original 13th Amendment, look it up, go into Google and type in original 13th Amendment. It was, there are to be no royalty, no royal blood. You cannot be a president of the United States of America if you're a duchess or you're a queen or a king or a cousin of a king or queen or anything like that. You come from any kind of royalty, you can't be president. And the reason why is because, again, they know how these people operate. We talking about England and all that. That's how they operate. They clutches into a governmental system and then they just have all their family members running it. Well, those who created the United States of America, those Moors, knew this and they didn't want that. That's why they put that original 13th Amendment in there that was written out by none other than George Washington. George Washington. When he came in 1789, I'm going to tell y'all something. I hope y'all are taking notes. All right. So, we got this situation where George Washington has come in now, and he has changed the Constitution. He's changed things in it. Now, Diva, because George Washington came in, and then the Moors, because they'll tell you that, the Moors was running stuff. That's right. Yeah, but the Moors was also running roughshod over the original people of this land who were also melanated people. They were running roughshod over them. They were mistreating them. So I need y'all to understand something. What's not being told in history is that there's a whole bunch of melanated people. There was different melanated groups in this land fighting against each other. And Albion just came in and took over the spoils of the war. They can't stand strong when everybody's fighting against each other. This is how it still is now. Y'all want to stand, but you don't understand that there are different groups of melanated people in here, and everybody's fighting against each other. And now this is just a spiritual battle now. This has always been a spiritual battle. But this is a spiritual battle. It's who are you aligned with spiritually? Where are you spiritually? So now, we got these different groups of melanated people. We got these people who were known as Indians. They really look like melanated, woolly-haired people like this. This is what they look like. They didn't look like the long-haired, stringy-haired people they call Indians today. Because what has happened is that the original people of the land were threatened into not claiming who they are. And so when one generation stops doing it, and then they don't teach the next generation, and then the next generation is ignorant and clueless about who they even are. Because the original generation stopped even talking about who they were. Okay, so you got this other group of melanated people who come in the land, and you're going to find some decrees where they say, these, first of all, they were calling the original people They are brothers. And I told you about that document that you can go and pull down and see the notice coming from that Indian tribe. They call themselves the Republic, the Indian Republic. And what happened is they were telling those who were running the United States of America, they were saying, hey, and notice I'm saying United States of America, the full title, because we're going to get into there's another United States and it has nothing to do with America. We're going to get into that. But you got these Indians that are talking to those Moors who are running the United States of America, and they saying, hey, brother, you know, y'all having this war between Britain, because remember the Declaration of Independence? This was when the Moors, they had decided, we don't want Britain in here anymore. We're going to create contracts to get rid of Britain. Pay attention now. I'm saying this stuff so you can go and take notes. All right. I just want to make sure I give you all the history so you can go and look it up for yourself. So what happens now is you got the Moors. We call them elite Moors, all right, because they had knowledge of law, they had knowledge of science, they had knowledge of the history, they had esoteric knowledge of how this thing works on a spiritual level. So these elite Moors, they come in and they started establishing another government outside of Britain, and all of these governments are still running together on top of each other today. And you got to understand the difference between them. Counties were established by Moors, supposedly, according to my research. Counties mean to count. They're counting. You know, you said you own this land, you said you own that land. The county's purpose and responsibility was to keep records of what everybody owned. So this is why you, till this day, when we're dealing with land, you go to the county. That is the highest authorizing agency on the private side. All right? Counties, they count the things that are owned by the people. That's come according to my research from the Moors. All right? And then you got state. There's two states. There's the Republic, which is Georgia Republic, Texas Republic, California Republic. And then you have the state of whatever. That belongs to Britain. So y'all got to understand there's a public side and then there's a private side. And if you don't know which is which, you don't understand who you're doing business with. All right? So there's a public side and then there's the private side. The public side, once again, anything state of anything belongs to Britain or the United States Corporation. Okay, I'm getting deep. All right, we're understanding that there's two sides of the state and then there's the county. And so then there's also a federal, and that deals with the money. I'm not going into that today, but I need y'all to understand all three, there are 4 different entities at least. Really, it's more than 4, but the main ones, county, state, city, and federal. And these are all different governments running in conjunction with each other, and they have different roles. Okay, so now we're understanding that. These counties were started by the Moors, and then they established that they did not want Britain in the territory. Why? This is why y'all need to read the Declaration of Independence. Go read it. Read it, read it, read it. It's telling you who these people were. And they're saying to Britain, this is why this whole war started, the Revolutionary War. And this was, again, before 1789, where the Moors had decided, look here, Britain, you don't have jurisdiction in this territory anymore. And so they established a declaration, which is a treaty. They established a constitution for the United States of America. Constitution, and note I said the word for the United States of America. And you can go and read that they established something with Morocco, whereby Morocco vouched for the United States of America, but it was never owned by Morocco. And when I say Morocco, I'm talking about the state of Morocco. I'm not talking about, because that's a totally different Morocco now. That's a different Morocco. But this Morocco had pull. It still had muscle, and the United States of America used them for backing. But little did they know, Morocco was in bed with Britain. This is why Morocco would never tread on the territory of the United States of America until Britain got their butts kicked, and the Moors, these elite Moors, had kicked Britain out. So this is a hostile takeover, because Britain was making money off of these states. Remember, these states are businesses. State of Tennessee, state of North Carolina, South Carolina, state of, anything state of belongs to Britain, and it is nothing more than a business. And when you're paying taxes to it, those taxes are going straight to Britain. So here you got these elite Moors telling Britain that they can no longer make money off of all of these businesses that they set up. Well, we're going to go to war.